Hey, what's up guys, it's Levi here and welcome to a brand new video on the Team Gullit channel. Where in this video it's time for a new formation guide. Tactics, attacking clips, defending clips, and I will just talk you through why this formation is as good as it is. The formation of today is going to be the 4-1-4-1, which is one of the most popular formations right now, as it's basically a 4-5-1 just with a CDM. So let's just not waste our time, let's get started with the tactics. So for the tactics, you can see it is on a 4-1-4-1. Build-up style is on balance, defensive approach is on high, where we use the defensive line depth on 70. This is because I like to press. This formation is also really good to press, and that is one of the strengths of this formation. And obviously it's a bit easier to press with 70 depth than if you play on balanced. Then for the player roles, my goalkeeper is on goalkeeper and defend. Both my right back and left back are on full back and balanced. Both of my defenders have the defender and defend role. My CDM, which is Pavlovic, is deep lying playmaker and defend. Then my right center mid is on box to box. My left center mid is on playmaker. This way you have basically a 6, a 8 and a 10, how you would call it in real life football, which are my most defensive midfielder is the 6, Pavlovic. My box to box is the one who's good at both, Reinders, and my left center mid, which is Zico, is the more attacking one. And I don't expect too much from him in defense, but when I need him, he will be there in the right position to defend. Left mid and right mid, both on inside forward. And last but not least, you guys are probably used to it, Pina is striker, same in this case, and she is on advanced forward. Then we move on to the clips, where we're gonna start with some of the defensive clips. And first, I'm just gonna talk about why this formation is as good in defense as it is, and why a lot of people are using it. So for me, the main reason why a lot of people are using it is because it helps you out in defense. You have 3 midfielders, in this case 1 CDM, 2 center mids, which makes it just easier to track them back. Obviously, we all know how good AI defending is at times. You don't want to touch your defenders, you want to drag your midfielders back. So now talking to the clips. First clip, you will see my opponent has the ball with Pina, but basically I have 5 midfielders who are all in a position where I can select them to defend, and obviously the back 4 who are just structured all in line here. What happens? He doesn't really find space. As I said, Zico, which is my most attacking midfielder, here you can see I drag him back, and in the end I win the ball, because there are just 9 players of my team almost behind the ball against his, let's say, 3 or maybe 3.5 attackers in this clip, because his left mid Mbappe was not really available. So then it's obviously just hard to create chances when you are getting overloaded. Next clip, another example of why the midfielders help you out. You can see here my opponent is overloading me on the wing. His Lamine and I think it's Valverde, correct me if I'm wrong, are against my Carreras, but that's no problem. I can see I have still 6 people who are gonna help me out in defense once he cuts inside. So obviously he needs to cut inside here. That's what he managed to do. With Lamine, he managed to find Pina. Here my defensive structure is still alright. He cannot shoot straight away, so there's not that much danger, although he's in my box. But the moment I realize he cannot do anything with Pina, I switch away from my defender. I take one of my midfielders again, because there are 3. As you can see here, I managed to find Reinders. He needs to go back, and that's the time for me to intercept his passes. And that's just what makes this formation as good as it is, because I have 3 midfielders to defend, and this way you can really help to get yourself out of tough situations. In this next clip, you will see a bit of the pressure and the structure which gets onto my opponent. He doesn't know where to go, and he makes a mistake, and we transition the defense straight into attack with a counter attack. You can see here he's on the wing, but if I pass, he cuts inside with advanced roulette, but there is no opportunity for him to play to a different player on the pitch. So what happens? He wants to go back. I realize, I press with Pina, and now is where everything happens. So we go back to the midfield, quick tiki-taka. I feel this is an opportunity for me because he just made a mistake. His defense is out of position. I managed to trigger some players, play with the midfielders, quick counter-attack, Carreras. Unfortunately, no goal at this time, but this is a good example of how you can see how transition from defense to attack goes in this formation. And this last and final example of the defending structure in this formation and why it is so good is maybe the best one. You can just see my opponent is really patient and finding for some space, but he cannot find it. playing between the midfielders. As soon as he goes forward, I have the right structure built to intercept that pass and apply pressure. Because something you probably don't see, but the thinking behind this, the structure is so good that once he goes forward, that decision is almost a bit rushed. So here he goes to Mbappe, but he doesn't really have options available. So it's just a 1v1 defending, and I just know if I go for the tackle, it's nothing he can do. And that's because the whole structure of the defense is how I want. Now we move on to the attacking clips, where often you will see players being triggered, especially midfielders. First clip, you can see I'm combining between Pina, Zico and Pavlovic, which are obviously two midfielders combined with the striker. In this formation, your striker will basically be a number 10, will be the playmaker, will be the player all the passes go through, and that's why I want Pina here. She has tiki-taka, incisive, so she can give the through balls, she can speed up the pace, and that's why you need a player with incisive or at least good passing as your striker in this formation. Next example, you will see a really patient build-up. The good thing about this formation is that you always have a cutback available. 3 midfielders, so if you cannot go forward, there's probably an option to bounce the ball back. Go back, recycle, and then try over again. Next example, once again, you will see triggers. Triggers coming in from the midfield. Here, I trigger Reinders. I managed to find him with Dembele. That's the bounce I call. We play to Pina. I can't really go forward. Bounce it back to Zico. This time, it's not a goal. But here you can see the whole thinking about the formation. And something that makes this formation different compared to other formations, that your midfielders will score a lot of goals. Right here, you can see I trigger Reinders even on the wing. So that's because I have 3 midfielders. I'm not scared to trigger one midfielder when he's on the wing, because I will still have 2 midfielders. As you can see, Zico is still located in the midfield, and Pavlovic, which is the CDM, is sitting back a bit more to prevent the counter-attack if I lose the ball. So here, I'm not scared with Reinders because I still have 2 midfielders. And what happens because of it, I trigger Reinders, I send him on a run, just go for it. Your midfielders will score a lot of goals in this formation. That is a bit different in other formations, but they are just like attackers. You need to use them like attackers. Here again, you see Reinders is sitting in the box and standing next to his thumb all the time. He basically looks like a striker. In the end, I managed to find him and score. So this formation looks pretty defensive, I would say, but practically, when you're playing it, you will feel it's not a defensive formation at all. That being said, I've discussed everything you need to know about the 4-1-4-1. Definitely a really good formation, although it might sound weird. That being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to put your thumbs up on this video. Leave a comment down below if you would like to. Subscribe on our channel if you haven't done that yet. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.